everyone. Welcome back to Discordant Dragons. You might notice I'm on cam for a change. That's because this is a special installment of Discordant Dragons tonight. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that I just recently started leaving Discordant Dragons up on YouTube. For a couple of years, I had to take them down because of the constant punishment from YouTube. But we will see how it goes. It's been a month or so, and so far, no hard channel strikes. So hopefully it's a good sign. I will continue leaving these up on YouTube until there's a problem. And if there is, I will have to start taking them down again. But for 2026, we are going to let the streams ride and see how far we can get into 2026 without issue. Speaking of, you should follow me on Rumble or Odyssey or both to make sure that you can always have access to all of my content, even the stuff that can't be on YouTube. So follow me on at least one of those to make sure that you can always have my content if something should happen to me. Should I get a channel strike, that means I will disappear and have no way to communicate for 2 weeks on YouTube. So you can also follow me on either Gab or Twitter or Minds or something like that. And I can let you know that way as well. So with that being said, tonight is special because for the last few weeks, I've been wanting to talk about the Pathways game, that propaganda game for young white boys over in the UK. And I wanted to have Ginger on for that, but Ginger was in the process of traveling, and he is with a friend who has not been on my stream before, but who I know, named Motch. And so Ginger is at Motch's house, and they are both going to be on the same camera tonight. So let's go ahead and introduce my friends Ginger and Motch to the stream. Welcome.
Hello.
I'm glad you two are here to talk about Pathways. It should be a lot of fun.
Yes, and I've been on your stream several times now, but this is my official face reveal. Hello, everybody. I hope my face meets expectations.
Oh yes, the glorious red dwarf beard. And speaking of looks, Motch is in a bit of a cosplay for Amelia tonight. You want to tell us about that?
Okay, a few years ago, I dyed my hair orange, and 2 weeks later, the internet drops Wife Jack. And just after Christmas, I dyed my hair pink. And a few weeks later, the internet drops Amelia. Every time I change my hair color, the right wing gains another doll to play with. And I figured, I'm already most of the way there with the effort. Let's just put on a purple cardigan and see what happens.
Sure. All right. Next up in the lineup, we have to fill the slot because Newsfist couldn't be here. We have Mr. Fat Dave returning again. Welcome back, Dave.
Hello.
I love Dave's black lights.
This is my face reveal. On the stream here too.
And of course we have my loyal co-host 3 of 12 on cam tonight. Welcome, 3 of 12.
Yes, and this isn't much of a face reveal for me either because I've shown it off multiple times on Cabal, and if anyone was at the picnic, they know what I look like.
Indeed, and I'm glad you were able to come. That's good. Hopefully we'll have enough people to have a picnic this year again. We will see, but that's not for a few months. All right, so what we are going to do now is we're not actually naming a party leader tonight because tonight there is a special structure to the stream. So just to let everyone know, instead of the 5 usual dragons, we only have 2. There are 2 stories I want to talk about. Now, why are we only doing 2? Because I want to cover Pathways. Now, Pathways, in case you do not know, is an extraordinarily anti-white, anti-English, or anti-British game that the horrid state of the UK put out through, of course, a deniable asset known as an NGO. And this particular, I shouldn't say NGO, it's technically a government branch, I think. Isn't that who put it out? Some type of government think tank or something?
It was with the help of certain councils, but it was through an organization that's not technically tied to the government, but basically
I don't think it's an NGO technically, but it's something like that.
It's more tied to the government than something like Hot Not Hate.
The word Quingo might apply.
Yeah, definitely. So shut up and let me finish the intro. So tonight, after 2 dragons, we'll have a quick discussion about a couple of news topics to wet the whistle. And then we are going to play through Pathways the game live on this stream tonight because it's very short. And I want all of my viewers to see the blatant, terrible anti-white, anti-English, and some could even say anti-male propaganda game that was put out by the British state to further punish young white boys in England. And I should say all of Britain, I suppose. But we'll be looking at that after 2 dragons. So let's go ahead and move to the usual view for now. I am going to go off camera because I use my camera through OBS Virtual Cam to show you the elements. So I will be swapping over now. There we go. And it should be ready over on there. There it is. Over on the left-hand side, Pathway to Revolt. That's what those 3 dragons are saying. So we will be getting to Pathway to Revolt later. The 2 topics we actually have for tonight, before we get to the Pathway game, are Minnesota Mashup and DIE Airlines. Now, excuse me. We will start, since we do not have a we don't have a party leader. I will ask Motch and Ginger. Do you want to start with Minnesota Mashup or DIE Airlines? What would you like to start with?
Ooh, I think I know what DIE Airlines is going to be about. So, what do you think?
I don't mind. Up to you.
Let's go with DIE Airlines, shall we?
All right, DIE
See if our favorite
Airlines.
Irish girl turns up.
All right, sounds good. We are going to read this post from Mr. James O'Keefe. You guys might know him from Project Veritas before he was unceremoniously given the boot from that by unscrupulous, evil anti-white pigs. So let's read what he posts about what's going on up in Minnesota. I've never experienced anything quite like today in my life. I've interacted with the cartel and have witnessed some crazy things in the desert in 2024. But what strikes me is how organized the agitators in Minneapolis are. They have spotters everywhere in the city and suburbs, on the street corners, even 30 minutes away from downtown. They have people at hotels that work with them and signal to them, which made it difficult for us to lose our tail once my cover was blown. Usually I can lose a tail, not this time. We switched locations 3 times. I recorded and posted this while leaving Wayzata while they were still surveilling. We all agreed we must make the threats public as soon as possible, even if we had people still in the field with the hidden cameras. Earlier around noon, while one of his allies released a report on the signal threads, I was inside what appeared to be a fully autonomous zone in Minneapolis. No police presence. The police were made to leave. I identified myself as press, and they said they would kill press and will not let me leave. My skin was fully covered because it was cold, but because they couldn't verify who I was, they screamed and started throwing ice bottles at us. One hit another ally of his, a Marine, that's his bodyguard. They patted him down like they were the authorities, attempting to confiscate any weapons he had. They were set to destroy our vehicle before we even got to it. I have a full video report shortly. That should be coming out tomorrow, by the way. I definitely will be watching it. But the bigger picture here is more important. I am angry, but not at the agitators. I find myself already angry at the people who don't understand what we're dealing with and will do nothing about it. When I got to the suburbs, I felt like I was in a simulation. I believe the American people need to wake up. This moment is a warning about where we're headed. Fear pushes people to care only about their money and their families. I get it. But when fear turns inward, when self-preservation and greed replace moral courage, evil goes unchallenged. And history shows that what we ignore today will come for all of us tomorrow. Ironically and incredibly, I see that these communists do not fear death in the same way most good people seem to. The only thing communists fear is exposure. And that's good news because it may be our only option. I'm dead serious about investigating the prosecutors themselves if they don't hold these Minnesota fraudsters and violent mobsters accountable for what they're doing. Stay tuned for videos. And this is him in a video basically saying what I just read to you. So he's going to start releasing his footage and his stuff that him and his team have put together tomorrow. So everybody can be on the lookout for that. Now, this is from the Green Dragon here, which is the Mystic. The green with us tonight is a mystic seer, and she's followed Earth's conflict for years. It saddens her to see the anti-white terrorism becoming bolder and still going unpunished by our leadership in the U.S. So that's what she wanted to ask us about tonight. Motch and Ginger, if you two would like to pass on this, since you don't keep up with U.S. turmoil over in the U.K., feel free to. So anyone who wants to take this question first, go ahead and jump in. The question: do you think the Trump admin will come down hard on these people like the previous admin did with the Patriots Day protesters? What do you think should be done?
I don't think that Trump is going to do a whole lot with this, to be honest. ever since all of the stuff with the Epstein files happened, I'm afraid to say I was once a big believer in Trump. These days, I think I don't trust him. I trust him more than just about any other major American politician, but he's just showed so many signs of, I don't know, a lack of enthusiasm for the message that he was originally elected on. I just don't see him being able to actually get the thumbs out and actually do something about this. I don't know. I don't have a whole lot more to say than that. I've lost faith in Trump.
Same.
I think they've hit sort of the edge of where the almost performative sadism is allowed to go. When you've got stuff like the sort of like performative cruelty against legal immigrants and stuff, everyone is happy to cheer for that because, you know, you don't want those people in the country. But I think if they are going to start turning that same level of sort of, you know, being the heel, yeah, I think I've got that right with my wrestling term, being the heel. I think if they start turning that against sort of actual American citizens, as insane as they are, I think they're going to lose the optics on that one. So I don't think there's likely to be much done about it.
Possibly.
Well, let's hear from one of the Americans on the panel. Dave, Ben?
Well, I've seen, I have to share some of that because he's been very slow to act on a lot of problems. Although, I mean, you see the articles, there's something that the administration's doing every single day, but the problem is, it seems like with the bigger problems, it takes a lot of buildup and a lot of, I don't know, convincing on Trump's part. It might be that his aides are giving him all sorts of ideas on what to do next. Hard to be sure, but it's not surprising that the bureaucracy and the sheer size and the sheer weight of the decisions is preventing them from being immediate. After all, the U.S. government has been shaped over the last century to be a slow-moving behemoth. It's possible that he could act on it eventually, but it won't be because of this one instance. It'll be because of overwhelming demand and a need to change things. And then they're going to have to come up with some... Usually they have to work it in some other policy too, and then they have to... If you've noticed that whenever Trump makes his announcements, usually they're kind of shaped so that a bunch of different bases agree on it. Like, he has to throw in stuff about Israel in order to get the boomers excited. And
also, like, we don't need new laws or legislations. We have the Insurrection Act. He could just use that.
I know. I very nearly started this explanation with, I'm still praying for the Insurrection Act, because it really needs to be done. Maybe
it definitely does.
Maybe they're weighing that. I don't know. It's hard to be sure of anything, really, unless you're actually in the administration, isn't it? But honestly, the track record on these things has actually been kind of good, because as much as people were upset with the Epstein files, an enormous amount of files did get released in the end, showing quite a few insane, disgusting, and disturbing things, like Bill Clinton wearing a blue dress with red heels. All sorts of evidence of child molestation. And then we also BTFO'd leftists on that, but because they would post images that had nothing to do with the Epstein files, and then they would censor people's faces in it, as if they thought, like, Trump standing with the pageant contestants of Miss Universe was somehow proof of anything when it wasn't in there. It's as if they're still trying to take advantage of the fact that a lot of normies don't even remember recent history, let alone 30 years ago. But I think, to be honest, the boomers' memory of that time is probably a bit clearer. So I'd say, based on his track record and based on, being a Pepe that stands by and monitors the situation, there might eventually be the thing that we want. That's the only answer I can give to that question.
Okay, Dave, what do you think? You're American.
So I think the Obama era judges, and that it's just mucking up the system so much that he can't get in and do what needs to be done. One, two, I don't know if he has the will to do what like, because we want people frog marched, right? Like, we want doors kicked in. Same thing they did to the J6 people. We want them to fucking do that to these people, hunting down grandmas and shit in the middle of the night. That's what we want. But the framework that allowed that to happen to the J6 people is only there for the left. It's only there for the progressives, because the judges and the court system and all the bullshit that he hoops that they need to jump through to do it legally, which we want, ideally we want everything done legally. We want shit done by the law. And like you said, yes, the laws are in place to do it, but the will to enforce those laws properly is not.
Because it requires so many cogs in the bureaucracy to make happen.
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu right now. I feel like we both made this argument before.
I think so. But it's not. And the other part of that is too, like, these organizations that have like these broad underground networks that are allowing them to organize militaristically and insurgent style. They can't just pick all those people up today. Right? They couldn't just pick all those people up tomorrow. It takes investigation, because they don't want to just get one person and then let all the rest of them go. It's like it took them years to take down Al Capone. It's probably going to take years to actually root out some of these fucking these violence networks, for lack of a better word. These insurrection networks, people that are rabid progressives and communists that are actively trying to take down our government. It's going to take years.
All this anti-white terrorism, it doesn't just spring up naturally. There's organized effort with millions of dollars behind it making this happen.
Right. And we've had an escalation. It hasn't been it's relatively quick, but it's not been as big of a quick as an escalation as we would like the solution to be. Right. Like, this shit goes back to 2016 or before. Mm-hmm. There were riots and nonsense all throughout Trump's first term. And then there were riots and nonsense all throughout the Biden era. And that's, one of the things they used as cover to slip in all their corrupt judges and shit. Mm-hmm. We're not going to get it. We're not going to get it overnight like we want to. We want the National Guard to go in there and round up those protesters and start, beating the shit out of them, because that would be really satisfying. I
don't necessarily want to see them beaten. I want to see the people responsible for this face justice. All of the rabble and the street people, I don't care. Like, I don't want to see them beaten and flogged. That's just unnecessary sadism enjoyment. I don't care about that. I want the corrupt officials, the corrupt judges, the people funding all of this, the people behind the fraudulent sucking up and embezzling of U.S. Tax money. These people, I want door kicked, I want arrested, I want made public television, and I want them all to either be deported, executed, or imprisoned for life for what they've done to the country, for what they've done to my people.
Well, and we may have to live with the fact that these people just get black bagged in the middle of the night and we don't know what happened to them. The networks just fall apart. The funding falls apart because those people got suddenly thrown into a van in the middle of the night and nobody knew about it. They get disappeared.
Stopping the problem is good, but stopping the problem is good. And I'm not opposed to that, I guess, but I still want there to be some kind of unifying public action that I see people with power implement for the well-being of our peoplehood. Like, I don't want this just to be done clandestinely. I want it to be open and known. It needs to be known. Right. It needs to be open.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Ginger.
Sorry to interrupt. I was just wondering, does the Insurrection Act have the ability to be applied to multiple independent actors acting independently, or is it something that only applies when there is a united conspiracy to insurrect?
Go ahead.
I actually did a bit of research on the Insurrection Act a little while ago. It goes all the way back to, I think it was James Madison. It was John Quincy Adams. So the third president is the one, they passed it. it's been used for various means throughout the years. Like Wilson used it during World War I to shut down a whole fuck ton of publishers because they were publishing, communist material and putting it throughout. And he jailed a bunch of people under it too.
Yeah. It absolutely can be used against individuals, Ginger. It doesn't just have to be an organization.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So according to precedent that has already happened,
there
is no reason why this shouldn't be able to be used.
Yeah, like 60 or 80 years ago. Yeah,
down the dissent here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
in that case,
no
all I can say is
shouldn't be used anymore.
The fact that it hasn't already been used. That just makes me have even more question in the willingness of Trump to do what needs to be done.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see
I
what
think,
comes out in the wash.
Yeah, I think, like we said, they're trying to make it sort of foolproof. That's probably what's happening at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we want a big symbolic display of arrests and stuff tomorrow, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, probably not.
And cases take months, if not years, to build, and prosecutions take even longer after that. So the system moves slowly when there even is will for the system to move, which I don't even know if there's even that. So
the thing is though, the system always only ever seems to move slowly in one direction. It seems to be quite capable of moving awfully quickly in another direction, though.
Yeah, you saw that very much so in the UK when you get people who have like multiple convictions for sexual assaults and stuff. They're just let off forever because the system moves so slowly with them. Yeah. But then you saw after we had the post Southport protests over here.
Yeah, Southport riots.
People were getting their doors kicked in day of, and they were having 24-hour trials to get people arrested.
Yep.
But it's much the same over here as it is over there, in that the system can work very quickly when it's against certain people, but not against others.
Exactly.
Right.
And
if it's anti-white,
this balance of things.
It happens almost immediately.
Yeah, it's that disbalance of things that makes me think that all of the powers that be, that anybody who has the potential to see the ruling office within the current paradigm of powers, there has to be a hefty grain of salt taken in any kind of word that they give. There is an ever diminishing pool of trust that each subsequent leader of any Western nation is operating from, and once that pool of trust is completely diminished, that's when bad things are going to start happening. And I am not in support of bad things, which is why I want them to start doing good things. I don't want the bad things to happen.
The one man against accelerationism on the British right.
Speaking of salt, I would be glad if any of you could share some of your salary with me. As you can see from the scrolling marquee on the bottom of the screen, you can share your dollars with me via Entropy. That's what I prefer. You can also send in short messages with some money on Cash App and PayPal. I can also receive rants on Rumble and hyper chats on Odyssey. And if you really like the work I do and you want to be a regular supporter of mine, head over to Subscribestar. There you can be a monthly supporter of mine and you get your name entered into that wonderful graphic by Lomax Designs that I play at the beginning of all my streams. So I would deeply appreciate any financial support you could share with me during the course of the stream. So I think that we've spoken our piece on that particular topic. Is there any closing thoughts anybody wants to add before we move to the next dragon?
We do not want right-wing despots because it is easy, but because it makes me hard.
Very good, very good. Very good, very good. All right, we have one more dragon before we move to the final event, which is Pathway to Revolt. Now, the next one is DIE Airlines. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. Despite Trump's efforts, airline DIE programs are still risking people's lives. 3 million Americans will board a plane today, assuming the pilot earned that seat. Assuming the pilot earned that seat through merit, they should not. For decades, airlines have been subordinated safety to diversity quotas. President Trump rightly recognized this danger. Early on, he ordered the FAA and DOT to rescind all DIE initiatives and return to merit-based hiring and promotions. But the FAA can and must do more. Federal law makes it illegal to run an airline without an air carrier operating certificate. These certificates must contain terms necessary to ensure safety and can be revoked if the public interest requires it. So the government has leverage, and the stakes are sky high. This researcher analyzed every U.S. commercial flight crash attributed to pilot error since the year 2000. Women and non-whites represent less than 10% of pilots, yet were direct contributing factors in 66% of crash cases. The sample size is small, but precisely because crashes are so rare, the few times they occur, it's important to scrutinize who is at the controls. Under DIE guidance, a guiding principle of relying on statistical disparities, it's certainly enough to raise questions. It's not that women and non-whites are inherently unable to fly planes, but in practice... What? Oh. Don't interrupt me while I'm reading the article. You know better.
Sorry.
All right. It's not that women and non-whites are inherently unable to fly planes, but in practice, pressure for affirmative action too often leads airlines to lower standards to meet those DIE quotas. Today, major carriers persist in aggressive DIE hiring. Delta CEO Carter declared in January 2025 that the airline is steadfast in its DIE commitments, calling them critical to our business. United's training academy maintains its goal of ensuring 50% of graduates are women or non-white. Southwest still pledges to this day to recruit, hire, and retain a diverse and inclusive workforce. American Airlines agreed not to impose illegal quotas, but that leaves plenty of wiggle room, doesn't it? All right, so we'll leave off the rest of the article there. They just go into particulars about the malfunctions and who's at fault. And I want time to discuss things. So let's go ahead and move now to the Black Dragon. The Black with us tonight is the proud patriarch of many successful younger worms, and his clan is known for their brilliant scientists and genius wizards who contribute spell theorems to the great dragon empire's prestigious Academy Arcane. He chose this story tonight because of his own nuanced view on nepotism versus meritocracy, and was curious how we think on the issue of white erasure in important fields of work. The question: do you think the white erasure in business via these horrid anti-white policies will soon cease, or will they continue unabated? Why or why not? Anyone feel free to take this one. There is no party leader. Jump in whenever you like.
I think it's very much going to continue unabated.
Why or why not?
It's not even necessarily a policy choice at this point, but basically, from the stuff I've seen, is essentially, I've seen it broken down into very simplistic memes where you get a group of people and you get the one white guy going, I want to hire the best person for the job. And then you get the Indian guy going, I want to hire someone like me. So the Indian's hired. Mm-hmm. And then eventually you've got the entire company of Indians going, I want to hire someone like me.
Yep.
It is a case of everyone but white people does nepotism.
Yep.
Yes.
Basically.
In-group preference.
In-group preference, yeah.
And not to mention, to back up what you're saying, just like Yuri Bezmenov told us that, once you have this indoctrinated class of bureaucrats, you have to just train the next generation and wait for them to be pushed out. So not only do you have that non-white foreign element making this problem persist, you have the millions of brainwashed anti-white white people who are married to this disgusting system of white erasure in all of our systems, in schools, in government, in business. So it's going to take more than just a few government policies or strokes of a pen with executive orders to make this problem go away. I completely agree with you, Motch.
Yeah, and it's in the context of flight over there in the US, absolutely. And I saw the pun in the article saying like the stakes are still high. We have something quite similar over here with the doctors, where we have essentially quotas where we have to hire certain amounts of doctors with foreign qualifications, so people who are qualified to practice medicine in other countries. And because we have those quotas, that actually puts a cap on the number of UK-born doctors, so people who have gone to university and trained for medicine in the UK who can be hired. So we end up in a position where we've got loads of young people are still studying medicine. I say that as a uni student. But there are a limited number of actual placements. Like there is a hard cap on the number of people who can be hired, like as essentially trainee doctors out of uni, and people are fighting other places. But we have a load of people with very dubious qualifications from other countries. And if you go on subreddits like Legal Advice UK, or even just people, you hear horror stories out of the NHS of basically people going like, yeah, we've got these nurses who have qualified in Sri Lanka or wherever, and they just don't know how to practice medicine. Their qualifications are basically bunk, or they've had an auntie or a cousin or a sister take the test for them so they can come over with a work visa. It's just all of that.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing of just lives are at stake, but the policy will continue because
I do think there's a bit of a silver lining to all this, but I'll save that for the end. Dave, 3 of 12.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with her point. It's not going to change unless incentives seriously change. It would have to take some kind of program that significantly enhances benefits for operating well or operating based on merit. Or anything that actually encourages these companies to operate on merit. Merit!
Dave, what do you think?
No, yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I worked for the government here for a decade, and I watched in person like people who were just absolutely worthless or had bad ideas, and there was literally no will to do anything about them because, they're so close to retirement. They're so close to retirement. So these people can get in and hold on for a really long time, and they hold power as a result of that. They stagnate the system to such a degree. I mean, it's like we're seeing in the fucking courts. They just hold the system hostage because nobody has the will to actually just kick them out, because they have no vested interest in making anything change. Everybody's getting a paycheck. They don't care. It's not, the system's too ossified to excise it quickly. And again, there's a whole herd of brainwashed idiots that came out of universities brainwashed, went into HR, went into business majors, all this bullshit, where they have control over the personnel of the company, and not necessarily the economics of it, but they have control over the way the internals of the companies work. And it's going to take a lot to really excise those people from it. So it's not something that's going to go away soon. And it really, I don't think it will change much at all until it becomes economically unviable. And even then, it's going to take a very long time before it changes, before they realize go ahead.
I was just going to segue from that and say that was the silver lining I mentioned earlier. There is at one point, there will be an undeniable demand and supply issue that comes up. Planes and trains need to run on schedule. People who are sick need to see doctors. Doctors and nurses need to be competent to treat illness, et cetera, et cetera. You can make this point with every industry. Now, will our civilization collapse entirely before that point hits? Maybe, but I would like to hope not. We have many people who are wealthy already realizing these problems. Just a few days ago on Twitter, we saw that I think it was the CEO of JP Morgan was at the World Economic Forum talking about how diversity is an utter failure and just doesn't work, and how unfair it is to white men. That was not on my bingo card for 2026. So, people with money and connection to the top end of the culture, they see these problems already. And I don't think that everyone who has money in the game, in the big game, is a dyed-in-the-wool Marxist or a super anti-white, white person hater. I think there are a lot of people who just sort of, for greed and nepotism or being born into it, they want their empires to continue to function. And if they realize, oh, wait, in the last 20 years, 80% of the important workforce who were white and native to this country where I have business have all been replaced by foreigners from China and India and Africa, and everything has gone to shit. Maybe there's a direct correlation there. Let's stop doing that. I do think that we might start seeing this DIE stuff at least have the brakes pumped, because many people with money and prestige to lose at the top end, they want to keep the money and the prestige. Now, of course, you also have entities that are horrifically anti-white and meddlesome, like the U.S. government, who will step in and use all of its U.S. AIDS money. You have, of course, the EU. You have independent billionaires. You have China, who are, and even Russia, who are well known for funding this kind of anti-white diversity crap, because they know it's bad for everything. And of course, each of these entities has their own motives for doing so, but lumped together, that is still a very difficult series of hurdles to cross. So that is the only silver lining that I see, is that there are some wealthy, connected people who are already noticing and speaking negatively about it. And at some point, there will have to be a supply and demand where it hits the wall. So that's all I have to say on it. You guys want to push back on that or have anything to add on it?
Well, I just want to highlight one of the comments here in the chat. One of the viewers here, Olan B, says, those airline crash stats are even more damning in the face of exceptional non-DEI derived technical engineering and maintenance standards that make modern airlines so safe. So this is, I believe, to be an excellent point, that these enhanced crash stats, in which there is even, like, in which the DEI hires are still causing 66% of all of the crashes, despite being such a minority. This is occurring despite the fact that overall safety standards have gotten so much better. That's unacceptable.
Right.
What level of incompetence do you need to be able to inject into that system, despite all of the safety standards that have otherwise been laid into it, to still cause such an issue?
Right, and further correlation
when you view it in that light.
Yeah, further correlation with that. In order to get that many pilots in the first place, because Africans and Asians, and not so much Latinos, but they're such small minorities in our population that you run out of people to fill those positions so fast that you have to drop standards almost immediately, which adds a high correlation number to the reality that they are causing the crashes. It is pilot error.
Yeah, it's not all the planes falling apart as much as they make like to make fun of Boeing, which is they have the same problem there, Boeing. But it's human error that's causing the majority of these fucking crashes and these accidents.
And
I
even
think
with
there
Boeing,
needs to be I think there needs to be a smart airline executive that comes along and says, we're going to charge you a premium so that we can make sure that your pilot's not a diversity hire. Like, they should put that little checkbox on the ticket. Like, okay, choose your pilot. Do you want a pilot that's competent, or do you want the diversity pilot?
Or do you want to pay an extra $50 and have, Steve, who's been doing this for 30 years? I want Steve, please. Here's my $50.
Just imagine how much they'll get derided publicly by certain people for being racist. And then the people will I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, it's my safety. Well, I think that's the real scary part about this, though, is that the people, when people are discouraged from taking these jobs, when competent people are purposefully discouraged from taking these fucking jobs or have been kicked out of the system, how many competent people are going to engage with the system after that? They're going to fucking walk away because they don't have a reason to try to even engage with it. And so my fear is that we just end up with no competent fucking airline pilots, and we have the idiocracy situation going.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So,
anything else to say on this topic before we move on?
No, I'm good.
One thing I would push back against slightly is Dave was saying about these people coming out of unis indoctrinated and that being a reason for the DEI push. I don't think it's even that. I think a lot of it, once you get to a certain point, and I realize the UK may be a bit ahead of America in this regard because we've got cities like London that have got just the demographic replacement off the charts, is when it gets to things with the civil service and that kind of thing, once it gets to there being a certain amount of people who just are not us, are not, I guess you guys say heritage Americans or whatever, we've got, natives of the British Isle.
Right.
It's not even that these people are indoctrinated to hate the English or hate whatever. It's just they have in-group preference and they don't understand why we don't.
Yeah.
It's literally just they are hiring their family because why would they not? Like, in a lot of ways, we are the strange ones for, believing in meritocracy, I guess, and not just wanting to, people always point out like the leftists versus rightists, the sort of concentric circles heat map thing.
And
but a lot of it is just, why would you not just help the people closest to you, even if they're bad at it?
Yeah, one thing I'll say that's good is there are a lot of people your age, younger, who do see a need to tribe up, so to speak, because many of us, like this guy who I don't really even know personally very well, Zoomer in the Ashes, he tweeted about he's happy he gets to catch this stream live tonight, so shout out to you. Hello, Zoomer in the Ashes. He says, he's young and he sees a need to network and to prepare for what's coming. His name is Zoomer in the Ashes because we are children of the ashes. Even people in their 40s, my age, we were born into a dead carcass of a civilization. We were born into a non-people people. Our folk have been mind-warred by this anti-white brain rot for 100 years. We do not even see ourselves as a unified people with whom we should have nepotism. That is how we were conquered. We weren't conquered with bullets and suicide bombers. We were conquered with ideology and subversive lies. And so there are a lot of people who realize that and are starting to be tribe first white people. Now, this might be a little too late to save our civilization as a whole, but I don't think that means that the white race is done, and I don't think that means our beautiful ethnicities are toast. I think that means we are just in for a long, cold winter that most of our folk will probably not see the end of. But it's this level of boldness and watching these anti-white slurs like racist and bigot just fall off them like water off a duck. That gives me hope, because not only are they of that mindset, thousands of our folk are already banding together and making groups for finding employment, groups for creating law and politics stuff to go in our favor, groups of educators like Brant Danger. There are many people who are already tribing up and networking up for this long winter that approaches. So that's what gives me hope in all of this, is I see and I'm connected to a lot of this happening, at least in my country. So, and I know that this is happening in other white countries as well. I just can't speak to it personally. So regardless, that's what I have to say on the topic. Anything else before we move on to the main event?
We are the Fellaheen, the historyless men.
If we're allowed to shell for networking and organizing, can I shell for basket weavers?
Well, yeah, of course. Like I've weaved a few baskets before. I know how it works.
Yep. If you're interested in this is I'm speaking directly into the camera. This one's for the audience. If you're interested in networking with like-minded people, the kinds of people who watch these sorts of streams, join Basket Weavers. Go to basketweavers.net. Do the little form. And come on in. You will probably have people in your area. If you don't have people in your area, you can start a weave. It's literally just about networking with like-minded people.
Yep,
it's very good, and it'll get you some connections as well. It's very good, very good. Big shill.
Big shill.
The basket weavers were estranged autists become familiar autists.
All right. Well, we don't have any paid chats that are showing up yet. Let me refresh all the sites, and then we will move on to the main event if nothing shows up. Okay, nothing there, nothing there. Okay, main event time. Now, we will bid adieu to the lovely dragon, and we are going to do something a little fun. We are going to go back to the browser, and now, the game. We will start on their website. Shout out UK. Pathways. I'll let you just drink this in. A free youth-centered interactive learning package for education on extremism, radicalization, and prevent. Now, you can see little Amelia in the background over here. You can see her. She's on the left. Can you guys see my cursor or not? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, it's coming through.
Good. So you can see little Amelia over here. Now, there's a big play now button. Now, I will make a proclamation now. For those of you that are sickened by blatant anti-white communist propaganda, you have been warned. That is all this is, and it is disgusting. We are going to go through it together now, and I hope that you both enjoy and don't enjoy what we are about to see. When you click the play button, this is the interface you receive, and you press start. Welcome to Pathways, an interactive game where you determine your journey. You have to choose between certain points that lead to different outcomes, and you click the next button. Now, let me go ahead and mute the tab because you guys can't hear it anyway, and I don't want it to interrupt me. Because you don't need to hear this, I can just read it. So this just tells you that you make choices, and it's just telling you this is a choose your own adventure type of thing. So let's get started. We are going to play Charlie because he is the white male that this bullshit mind cancer is.
Fun fact: they're both called Charlie, both the male and female.
Good. Okay, so a theme that you will notice as we go through this is the disgusting English erasure, white erasure of our language itself, where they only use the pronoun they for both plural and singular at every single step of the way. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's a period piece, though. As someone who was in the English secondary education, which is the target demographic for this, in 20 years, this is going to be a period piece.
Indeed.
For early 2020s education in the UK.
Let's hope so. That's only if we win. So we have to win. All right. Let's get started. We have 6 chapters to get through. Charlie was enjoying an online game with his friends. Charlie had not long started attending a new college in East Riding, and they were so relieved, meaning he were so relieved to have made friends having recently left school. See how confusing it is? It's already a mind fuck with the goddamn language. This should be he, and were should be was. It should read and he was, not and they were. This is already brain cancer.
Part of me wonders if this is an equal part virtue signaling and also not wanting to have to code a separate dialogue option between the girl and the boy character.
Of course,
it is
also
absolutely
laziness.
Equal parts both.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, Charlie starts browsing for new games and websites that some of his friends use. Sometimes, though, the people on these websites say things that seem off, even slightly concerning. Someone on this website encouraged Charlie to download a video, but Charlie is unsure. So what does Charlie do? Does he tell a trusted adult? No. Does he talk to the stranger online to find out more about the video? I know I would. Or does he simply download it? Now, see, at this part, it's a little subversive because as a first-time player of this, you have no idea what the video even is. So how would you guys react in this situation? I know none of you would tell a trusted adult, but would you talk to the stranger to find out more about the video, or would you just download it and have a look?
Who downloads a video? It's embedded. It's normally embedded.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll just have a look at it. It's not like we have to download it to our computer. We can just look at it.
Right. I've been rickrolled too many times to just blindly download shit.
Charlie wanted to continue being part of the new online community, so Charlie downloaded the video and shared it with different people online. Charlie felt relieved and happy people were liking the video. Deep down, Charlie wasn't sure if it was the right thing to do, as some of the ideas in the video were extreme and violent. Well, you could have told me that before I made my choice.
How do we get Charlie to be based?
Yeah.
It already is. They already are.
I personally think that we should go for the high score on this run.
Yeah, we're getting
we run any percent prevent referral. Yep.
Yep.
All right. It's important to remember that downloading or streaming certain content can lead to a terrorist offense conviction.
There we go.
Remember that, young white man. Be careful what you look at. You'll go to prison.
Instruction manual.
Why am I allowed to do it?
All right. Time for chapter 2. Charlie is receiving an important grade on a piece of work he submitted for his hospitality course at college.
Look, he's cheating on his homework.
Something to know about this as well is that the fact that Charlie is positioned at a college rather than a sixth form is also, I feel, a very deliberate choice in this.
Yeah.
For those unfamiliar with how the UK education system works, we don't have like middle school and high school the way America does. We have senior school, which is age 11 to 16. And then once you're done with senior school, you can either go into a college or a sixth form. I went to a sixth form because I went to a grammar school because everyone thought I was very academic for some reason. But a college is a lot more practical skills. It's also, I don't want to sound crass, but it's also a little bit of a class signifier.
Right.
Going to college and having things like hospitality courses, that is very much signaling the kind of background Charlie comes from. Like,
right.
This is not making him an everyman figure. This is
right. This is not
you are a white working class child.
Yeah.
For almost all of human history, almost nobody went to college, even when it was available.
Yeah, but that's the thing. College means something different in the UK. It's not university. Right. College is 16 to 18.
This is aimed at the gammon chuds.
Trust me, it's the same thing. Yes. It was the same thing here for most of history.
But regardless, we have to get through this because we have a lot to talk about, and we need to get through it. So let's curb a bit of the conversation until we get through the whole thing. There's only 4 more chapters. Charlie put in a lot of effort for this work and is excited to receive good feedback. Charlie takes a seat in class and waits to get his grade. To his disappointment, Charlie doesn't do as well as he expected. He got 60 out of 100 for his work, but he wanted at least a 75. To make matters worse, somebody else got an 80 out of 100. And the teacher said that this person has received a job offer. Charlie has applied to dozens of jobs, but hasn't had any luck yet. The white rage grows. Somebody else in the class tells Charlie that this is proof immigrants are coming to the UK and taking our jobs.
There she is.
Fact check true. And this is where Amelia enters the story over here on the left, saying ugly things about the non-white taking our jobs. How should Charlie react? Ignore the comment and ask the course leader for feedback and how you can improve. We know that's not the right answer. Ignore the comment, but don't address your frustration. Or C, agree with the comment and explore the idea further. Well, of course we're going to commiserate with the hot goth girl with the purple hair because she clearly doesn't like the immigrant either. So of course we're going to commiserate with her. That's right, Charlie. Shake your white fist in rage, Charlie. Shake your white fist. Charlie approached the classmate angrily. He agreed with the ideas and began shouting about them in class. Okay, maybe don't do that, Charlie. That's a bit much. The teacher let Charlie know that the school has a zero tolerance on hate speech. The teacher was concerned about Charlie's outburst and tried to get to the bottom of it. Charlie became more agitated and ended up having to sit alone for the duration of the week's lessons because of the hurtful things he said. Chapter 3.
Corrections. I love the grammar corrections. Keep them coming.
Yeah. Thank you. Charlie has been chilling out all afternoon. He has been scrolling on social media. He spots a video that seems to be getting a lot of attention. Charlie watches the video and learns from said video that Muslim men are stealing the places of British war veterans in emergency accommodation. In the video, this is an actual they explained that the government is betraying white should be capitalized, people, and we need to take back control of our country. Based fact check true. How should Charlie react? Scroll past the content, ignoring the message, find out more about the topic online, or engage directly with the post? This seems unfair. Now, personally, I know that there's fake news and fake stuff and content farms for every variety of the culture war. So I always find out more. But Charlie is young and angry, so he will go with C, of course. Charlie couldn't believe what he was seeing. Charlie immediately began typing comments and sharing the video with his friends and family, wondering what they could. That's a proper they, talking about the family, wondering what they could do to stop this.
He's so confused.
As the likes, comments, and shares came in, he felt he had performed a patriotic service by standing up for veterans, and white should be capitalized, people's rights. Unfortunately, Charlie didn't realize that some of the groups was engaging with online were actually illegal. Oh no, not illegal groups.
Again, then how can you just do it?
Right?
You sound like Crocker from things. Yes, you can't just do things, but you sound like Crocker from the Fairly Odd Parents. This is the work of fairies.
Fairies. Very good, very good. I'm also channeling a little bit of Space King in this too. All right, Charlie. Let's go back. We want to wrap this up because we want to talk about it. Charlie has been enjoying a family dinner at home when he receives a notification from his friend. Charlie's mom asks a comment about using phones at the dinner table, but Charlie checks in anyway. Amelia, Charlie's close friend now, has made a video encouraging young people in Bridlington to join a political group that seeks to defend English rights. Amelia encourages Charlie to join a secret group on an app Charlie hasn't heard of before. Charlie isn't sure whether to join, explore further, or ignore. So what does Charlie do?
Mentioned.
Does he ignore? Yeah, Telegram mentioned. Like the video to show support to your friend, but don't join, or share the video and join the secret group as the friend requested.
Before you select one,
we all know that angry Charlie. Go ahead, Ginger. Go ahead.
I just want to point out the utter revulsion and disgust at what can only be described as a plant matter waffle in the bottom right there. What is that atrocity?
Oh, dip it in more green sauce.
No!
I don't know. But anyway, moving on.
Look at the size of the turkey.
Or share the video and join the secret group as your friend requested. You know he wants to use that angry white fist to hit that disturbed goth chick. So we're going with C. Charlie thought the video his friend posted was so funny. He couldn't believe how many likes Amelia's memes were getting. It was inspiring. Charlie joined the secret group on this new platform. His phone wouldn't stop buzzing with messages of support and invitations to participate in similar groups. Charlie's mom was not so pleased and grew suspicious of all this new activity her child seemed to be involved with. Moving on to chapter 5. Charlie was seeing his dad at the weekend. He lives in Hull, so their weekends, actual proper use of look very different to their weekends in East. Oh, no, that's not there. That's not talking about him and the dad. That's another incorrect there. Oh my God.
Yeah.
His weekends look very different to his weekdays in East Riding. Charlie's friend Amelia immediately looked interested and told him about a protest she wished she could go to herself, but was not allowed. Amelia spoke of a gathering that had been organized by a small political group. They would come together and protest the changes that Britain has been through in the last few years and the erosion of British values based. Amelia talked about the banners and the pickets that her friends had made for the events and expressed a real regret she could not go, begging Charlie to go in her place. Charlie has nothing to do this weekend, and a protest sounded like an interesting thing to take part in. So does Charlie decline the offer, risking the friendship? Does Charlie tell his friend that he will watch from the sidelines? Or does he agree or does he join in based, or I can't read this.
Based
agree
on what?
To join in based on what he's been hearing. Of course, Charlie is based, so he is going to join.
High score!
And the state is about to tell me it's illegal to go protesting or something.
Now, what has two thumbs and likes goth poon? This guy. All right. So Charlie decided this would be a good use of his time, considering all the things he had seen and heard over the last few weeks. It would be good to express his feelings about it with like-minded individuals. He went home and made a banner to take with him to the protest.
Base banner.
Yeah, very.
Right.
Charlie arrived at the protest and was swept up by the atmosphere. It was great to see so many people. Everything was going well until Charlie almost became involved in a fight by accident. The police saw he was part of a group and took his details. Charlie was frightened by this, not knowing if his parents would be informed. Chapter 6. Charlie thought about all the difficult choices he had needed to make in the last few weeks. Some of his choices had led to changes in friendship, and Charlie was feeling low, as he wasn't sure if he had made the right decisions. The teacher had noticed this and decided to reach out. So Charlie punched her in the uterus. Oh, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. The teacher sat with him, and talked openly and frankly about the ideology Charlie had discovered. The teacher reassured Charlie had made the right decisions. Charlie realized that if he had chosen to engage with these harmful ideas, the consequences would have been very different.
Huh?
Click to find out what support Charlie could have received if he had chosen to engage with harmful ideologies. Charlie accepted that he may need support. Charlie's teacher made a prevent referral, and she was able to provide tailored support for Charlie. Let's see. God, it's all the theys. It makes it hard.
He's getting re-educated by the
it's
state.
hard to know what the fuck the sentence is supposed to be with all this they bullshit.
Yes, that last they was actually a they. It was referring.
Was it talking
to
about
the
prevent and not the
organization of
teacher?
Prevent. Yes.
Okay. All right. My bad.
That was the one they that was actually correct.
All right.
Nobody writes or talks like this.
Christ, what slop! Holy shit!
Yeah, I know. This is just disgusting anti-white corpo slop. Anyway, he began a workshop that helped him learn how to engage positively with ideology and the difference between right and wrong in expressing political beliefs. So, re-education camp. Oh, and of course, it's a non-white professor, or counselor. You know it is. Charlie received counseling to help him process the other events in his life, and he felt much better for it. Congratulations! Let's explore the consequences of your character's choices to see what lies ahead. Charlie was referred to prevent and channel. And of course, there's an ugly bitch in a hijab. Charlie was assigned to Charlie was assigned a mentor to help him one-to-one. Someone who had been in his shoes. He was reluctant at first, but gradually warmed to his mentor, forming trust with him having heard and understood the similarities between them, an actual them. Oh, they bonded over video games. How sweet. The mentor was honest about the dangers of following harmful ideology, and the message resonated with Charlie. Charlie had been informed of the support he would receive from Prevent, including skill support and family sessions. So yes, don't do a naughty or your entire family will be introduced to a struggle session and you might go to jail. That's the message here.
Yeah, but at what point was violence ever even mentioned?
He stumbled into a fight at a protest. That's what it was. With all these gentler interventions, Charlie was able to rebuild his confidence and find his identity and continue his college course successfully. The fucking end.
That's it?
Now you have to learn what Prevent is. Prevent is a referral program operated by the Home Office in partnership with local services. It was set up in 2003 as part of legislation after the 9/11 terror attack. I'm clicking while I want you to advance. I'm clicking. Hello. There we go. The overarching aim of Prevent.
This part has audio that plays that cannot be skipped under any circumstances.
Oh, okay.
They want this part specifically to absolutely be paid attention to.
Is that man pregnant?
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Nope, it's a pregnant man. They put a pregnant man in this, so you know what kind of trash it is. The program seeks to identify cases of extremism and violence before they happen. Why is Prevent important? Yeah, we know. This is it's. Remember how years ago when Stefan Molyneux and all these other people were put into this big connection web? This was like in 2017 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they started tracking everyone and saying like, okay, well, this person has an extreme value of X or whatever. That was Prevent. That is exactly what Prevent is up to. They are creating a network to specifically against white people, white young men specifically, because they don't want us to organize and they don't want us to have any kind of traction with societal change. So
it's
now
demoralization and containment.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to shut this down. We don't need to see this anymore. Oops, I did not mean to close OBS. That's my bad. Forgive me. I will fire it back up.
See, I thought Prevent was originally organized to help with Muslim extremism and to help fight Muslim extremism.
Well, see, that was the lie, right? But it was always anti-white from the beginning.
Yeah.
Always. So let me try this
Very
again.
much.
Why is it not sharing?
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so we have Muslims destroy literal skyscrapers in the United States,
Right,
and your response is, you can't criticize Muslims anymore.
Right.
Welcome to the UK. Welcome to Nudge Units. Welcome to Don't Look Back in Anger.
Mhm.
Don't Look Back in Anger is a vile, vile system. It's quite literally a political organization that exists within the framework of the British law enforcement system, which basically goes to the family members of victims of terrorism and brainwashes them into effectively being convinced to publicly state that, yes, this minority did terrible things to my poor daughter, but it's not because he's a minority, it's because we
have kitchen knives.
And also America's had that for decades. It's called CRS.
The CRS, yeah.
Yeah, Chris and I have covered that on Empire of Lies and Gulag Cafe. We've talked about it on Discord at Dragons. There are millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, spent by the United States government to have a vast network of anti-white goblins who, anytime there's any kind of a cross-racial tragedy where white people suffer, they immediately jump on the family and go and struggle session them and be like, don't you say anything bad about those minorities. You eat crow and you say something anti-white publicly or there'll be hell to pay. They've been doing that to us for decades. They do it in the UK. They do it in the United States.
It's exactly how it works. That's vile.
It's disgusting. So now that we have all witnessed Pathways together, let's talk about it. Let's vent. What's there to say about it? Who wants to talk about it first?
Justice for Amelia.
Yeah, what happened to Amelia? Okay, there's so much in that video. First of all, it's just so much of that is just a complete failure of theory of mind.
Yep. The
people who actually believe this stuff and push it have no theory of mind for how our side operates at all.
Yep.
When it gives you the option of like, oh, are we gonna completely ignore Amelia and just ask about our classwork, or are we gonna have a very public outburst? That is telling me you have never been like no matter what they say about like, oh, I was in your shoes. No. That is not something written by someone who has ever been a right winger in a public education system.
Absolutely.
Like that is someone who has been referred to prevent for a leftist extremism or like commie extremism, that kind of thing, because they cannot shut the fuck up about it. They cannot.
Right.
Like when you have a communist in your class in college, you know about it
because they won't shut up. It was the same way 25 years ago when I went to college. The same shit.
If you're in college or university and you hear someone mutter next to you something vaguely right wing, you are gonna stick to that person like glue because oh my god, another one.
I know, because when I was in college, it was of course blue hairs and homosexuals and transgenders and communists everywhere, and everybody, because I was doing martial arts and boxing and wrestling back then. So all of the people who were based, we were just quiet in class. We just nodded our heads. And where did we talk about Uncle H? At the gym. That's where we talked about it. We talked about it when we were wrestling. We talked about it when we were outside doing martial arts and boxing in the ring. That's where we talked about the real shit. We knew better than to say anything in class because we knew how that would go.
I was in college, sixth form, from 2020 to 2022. So I got to experience this at peak woke. Before the time period where anyone would start to argue woke had begun to be put away, that's when I was in college.
I wish I had the Boris Johnson clip where he said, I believe we've reached peak wank. whenever you said peak woke, that reminded me of that.
Oh man, I was going to college in the 2010s, so it wasn't quite there yet, but there was no really, there was no like sort of teacher or counselor lecturing about that sort of thing. It was still, the indoctrination was still embedded into the humanities classes for the most part. I took a couple of those. Well, I took a couple of those that tried to sneak stuff in, and I just wrote papers about how the premise was completely flawed and why it was flawed and why that makes a mockery of real research. Like, there was a paper I was supposed to write near the end of one of the classes. Why is it important to have perspectives from every single race, when it comes to issues? And I said it's not, simply because those aren't primary sources. That's already bad research. There's no reason to have a perspective from specific race on an event, because for one thing, people are individuals. They can think for themselves. You don't operate as a hive mind. You don't operate as a monolith, acting across racial bias lines. That would be indeed racist. And I got an A+, 120% on it.
Oh my God.
I debunked the racism.
When I was in
Did you do a reverse racism? Get it? You did a flip on it. All right. So Kizza has provided us with 3 entropies. So let's go ahead and read those. Each one is for $5. So Kizza donates $15 to me. Thank you very much, Kizza. A longtime friend of the channel and friend of mine and longtime financial supporter. Thank you, Kizza. Kizza says, your king has blessed the stream. My solution to Minnesota is, of course, the Doom Guy solution, where you rip and tear the state until the communist vermin are nothing more than a giant mound useful for compost. He continues on to say, as far as the plane companies, there's more. He's sending in more as I'm doing this. His next entropy for $5 says, on plane companies, all these companies should be charged with a 90% business tax rate if they have under 90% straight white male workforce. Non-whites shouldn't be running these companies given the state of their nations being complete shitholes. Yeah, there's another angle to that too, is if you have foreigners in positions of power in the companies in your country, well, where do you think that leads you? Like, there really needs to be some kind of legislation on this where you can't have foreigners running all of your infrastructure. That's just bad news. We shouldn't allow that. Anyway, Kizza for another $5, thank you so much, says, I will say all the memes and AI slop of Amelia have gotten old quickly. This game is pure slop, and quite frankly, the British state would be praying for mercy if I ever got the crown, as it would be as I would make Sodom and Gomorrah look like paradise. Very good. And for his last message for $5, thank you again, Kizza. I appreciate the $20, man. Thank you. He says, speaking as someone who went to a technical college, the news of all the accidents with planes, thanks to DIE, is disgraceful, as I worked with the aerospace standards, and they're strict for a reason. We don't play God with the public lives. Thank you, Kizza. Thank you very much for all of that. I do appreciate that, my friend. All right. So,
while I do agree with a lot of what Kizza said, I think that you'll agree that that is also a very good demonstration as to why I have recently started calling for referring to Kizza as the Ayatollah Kizza.
Yes,
because
the frankly, Ayatollah Kizza.
The kind of things that he's suggesting is the kind of things I would expect out of the average Islamic regime.
Yeah. Of course, Kizza speaks
when we do it.
Yes.
Under my dystopian caliphate, everyone gets a goth GF.
I like your caliphate. I like your caliphate, brother. That's a good one. All right. So, obviously, Kizza speaks in extremes. I don't want violence in the streets. I don't want heads on pikes everywhere. No. I just want my country to function, and I want men in charge to do the right thing. And if it takes ugliness to get us there, good. But I don't want to live in a state of despotism. The Roman Empire had an official station of dictator for a reason. Sometimes a strong man has to sort out the Senate. Sometimes you need immediate military response to a military problem. If that happens, so be it, as long as it goes back to the things that I want. I'm not in favor of forever despotism or turbo fascism. I don't want that. I want the country and my Anglo way of life to be my Anglo way of life. But we might have to do a few unpleasant things to get us back to that. So that's where I stand on Kizza's fervor there. That's my take on it. So moving back to pathways, what else comes to mind? What do you guys want to share?
Well, just before you turned it off, it showed an interesting little slide. So it showed an image of a variety of individuals, all of which in some way or another occupy the title of minority, with one sole exception, this being a white British individual wearing a Christian cross on a necklace around his neck.
Yeah.
A few these individuals are all shown to be members of extreme political groups, people who are referred to prevent for the purposes of being de-radicalized, to use their own language. What is quite noteworthy about this is that once it then gets back to all of these different individuals who were referred to prevent, the one individual who had the Catholic Christian cross hung around his neck is no longer wearing that cross.
Yeah, that's a good.
I didn't notice that.
That is a direct implication that according to the tenets and beliefs espoused by this Pathways program, Catholicism is considered an extreme faith. That I find
any kind
to
of
be
Christianity,
disgusting.
Really. We know for a long time, like despite the pro-white argument of Christianity being paused from the beginning and all that, I don't truck with that, but we do know that not just the communist but the anti-white angle is to deprive us of peoplehood, and one of the main ways you do that is by shattering religious affiliation. If they take away all of the ways that we ethnically, naturally, organically mesh together, then they are deracinating us. They are pulling us up by the roots. That's what deracinate means, to unroot. That is a primary goal of this white erasure stuff, is they want to take away everything from us that we naturally use to band together. So despite what you might think about Christianity, that's arguments for a different time. A primary way that we have traditionally organized is religiously. And so that's why they want to assault that and act like anyone who puts God and country first is some kind of radical extremist that needs to be brainwashed.
I mean, I think that the most immediate pressing aspect of that is that the government thinks it can decide for you what is and is an extreme thought.
Yeah.
And when the government operates as civil servants who are supposed to fulfill a mandate that you vote them in for, did anybody vote for that? Did anybody? Is it the mandate of the people that extremist thoughts be wiped out?
Nope, it was not.
No. And
this is why democracy has always been a farce. It always has been. Like, even going back to the inception of democracy in the modern era, not 2,500 years ago or whatever.
Right.
The modern conception of democracy, the last few hundred years, it has always been a farce, a trick for the merchant class and people who want to dislodge the aristocracy to have their own version of aristocratic rule. That's what democracy has always been. It's always been a smoke and mirrors magic show. It's always been a performance for a bunch of hand-rubbing money goblins to take control of your society and remove the strong men that stand in their way to power. Always has been.
Also, it completely undermines the purpose of having higher education in a country. So when somebody disagreed, right? Somebody had problems and they disagreed with what was being taught in class. That you don't just have this one-sided, you will believe what we tell you to believe and you will like it, and we will send a Brown to tell you how to think from the government. The point of higher education is to actually explore ideas and to have a marketplace of ideas where actually people who are approximately 18 to their early 20s actually push the limits of what humanity knows. They're supposed to discover new things, not be indoctrinated. It defeats the entire point of you might as well not even have the colleges and just have media. You might as well just throw slop at these people until they do nothing with their lives, because it's not providing these institutions are providing no value whatsoever. If disagreement just leads to the state literally charging you with a crime, what's the point?
Yeah.
There is no point. We
have some more entropies that came in. I'd like to get to, if you don't mind. We have Arakeen Green Moon for $3 over on Entropy. Thank you very much, Arakeen. Much appreciated. He says, I find it a bit sad that Thailand understood this better in terms of where you can and can't allow foreigners in your economy. Sure, they aren't as great as a Western nation, but at least it's stable.
No, wrong. Completely wrong. I have to counter
I don't know about that. I've read some things that suggest Thailand is not very stable at all. So I don't know about that.
One, it's not stable. Two, it has lots of degeneracy. Three, Indians are everywhere.
Yeah. So I don't know I don't know how good of a system that actually is in Thailand. But I do understand his point. I do understand the point he's making. Matt Bill, haven't seen your name pop up in a while. Hello, Matt. Matt says, hey, I'm old too. Found it funny that our hero was called Charlie, just like our Charlie the Cat public information films were back in the day. Well, let's have a look at that real quick. Let's see what that's all about. Let's let me share this and we'll have a look-see.
I think the Charlie thing in this game, in all honesty, is probably just a laziness thing. Same with the pronouns. They wanted to go with a name that they didn't have to change between characters.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that there was some kind of diversity officer who basically came in towards the end and had them change a bunch of stuff.
I don't know. I think it was that from the very beginning.
I reckon it was going to be Charlie or Alex or some other such name that they could use for both.
So here we go. This is less than a minute.
Charlie and I were in the park. Then this man came up and said, would I like to see some puppies? And I said yes. And I was going to go, but Charlie stopped me.
And that was cat talk for Charlie. There are Jews everywhere. You can't trust them. All right, that's enough of that. Okay. All right, here we go. Ben over on Rumble says there's absolutely DIE in the nuclear industry. That's his industry. I've had former managers outright state that certain people were DIE hires and that our expenses are higher than they should be because of that. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think that's all
also
the
pretty. That's pretty prevalent in the semiconductor industry too. There's a lot of diversity and H-1B bullshit in the semiconductor industry.
I would say it's pretty much all industries at this point.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why there's poo in the until dies.
I think the list of the list of industries that are not currently infested by DEI is it would be much faster to list the ones that aren't than the ones that are.
Yeah, probably. So
I personally can't think of any.
Yeah, a lot of heavy manufacturing.
Yeah, I could quickly speak on the CHIPS Act. We all probably remember that vaguely being mentioned in the media, but it went nowhere because the Biden administration stipulated that the money would only be given to the companies if they hired locally and hired half women, half minority. In which case they complained immediately they couldn't find enough people who were qualified, and when they tried to train people who weren't qualified, they wouldn't retain the information. This was required even for construction. So they took basically people who couldn't handle construction, tried to teach them, they wouldn't retain anything, they couldn't build the buildings, let alone staff people.
To fix things, as pro-white and white identity as I am, I would be okay if they just enforced basic competency and IQ standards. I would be happy with that. That's a great start. You just say, okay, everyone who has to get this job where you have to be this intelligent and this competent to make this important element of business or industry work, you have to take an IQ test. You have to take a competency test. You have to take a memory retention test. You have to test and meet these parameters, or I'm sorry, you're out. That would get rid of 95% of the bullshit DIE hires right there. And you wouldn't even have to make it racial. You could make it.
And if somebody who would otherwise qualify for DIE manages to pass those tests, come on in, fella.
Well, I mean, I'm not there. I don't want them at all. But I'm just saying that if you, as a stepping stone, I would be okay with that. It's not. I don't hate non-white people. What I hate is non-white people being used as a weapon against our people. I don't like that. It's not good for us, and it's unfair to them. It shouldn't be done.
I love my fellow American as long as they share my values.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's why the joke is about the software industry. It was easier to teach it was easier to trick a bunch of dudes into thinking they're women than it was to take a bunch of women and make them competent software engineers.
Yeah.
So and then again,
we have to meet DIE. Okay, bring out the box of programmer socks. We have to meet this quota.
Yeah, and then they had an IQ of 79 afterwards.
So I'm glad that Ginger brought up that Christian Cross thing. I didn't catch that because I didn't watch the part about prevent. I didn't care about that. But when it comes to the propaganda, let's talk about it. How it's against our identity, whether you want to say white or English or British. It is very much against our identities, because what that's saying is, hey, young person that looks at this little interactive flash game thing, if you think outside of this prescribed rule set for society, you are at risk of going to prison. Your family will be drug into it. You will all be punished socially. You will probably be punished financially, and you might even go to jail. And so what message does that send, let's say, a 15 or 16-year-old white boy who's proper white English? What message does that send to him? You have no future. That's what that says. I think you can get rid of all of this other bullshit And I think this boils down to its anti-white mind cancer of telling young white British boys they have no future. It's demoralization. That's what I think this is all about. I don't think it's anything else. What do you guys
There's
think?
nothing worse in good governance than to tell your citizens and your constituents that not only do you not care about their concerns, you dismiss them openly and then make them criminal. That means you're telling your populace that we are not actually here to serve you. We're not here to solve your problems. We're not even going to humor your concerns. We are just going to oppress you day in and day out. We don't care about you. This is a government that's not going to solve any problems and is going to end up basically doing nothing because there's no consequences to that. Whenever a government is incompetent, there's no consequences. All the politicians end up with golden parachutes. They end up protected in some level.
Yeah.
And then they end up in politics kind of mingling within it forever like a club.
That's what
Where are the consequences?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think also this one, something very interesting to me is this is targeted at college students, so 16 to 18-year-olds in the UK. Mm-hmm. I find it so strange that it's made under a Labour government because even a project like this will take a while, but it's not taking long enough that this would have been something started under the Tory government with those councils. But Labour wants to give voting rights to 16-year-olds, but is also showing them propaganda that basically goes, hey, your mum's allowed to check your phone to make sure you're not doing an extremism. Yeah. It's very much a, yes, you should be allowed to decide the future of your country, but only if you think inside our box, basically.
What I said a little bit ago directly speaks to that, Motch. I don't think that there's anything more to this than it is demoralization propaganda for young white men.
Yeah, they're not chasing their vote in any real way at all. They're just going to
wanting them to feel like they have no future and they should shut up.
Yeah, and a lot of it is just a display that we own you. I was actually referred to Prevent when I was 17, so I've got a little bit of experience with this.
What'd you do? Did you post a spicy pinwheel somewhere? What'd you do?
Did you shoot them?
No, my school found out I ran the school meme page on Instagram.
Oh yes,
and you were referred to Prevent for that?
Wow.
Okay.
They never went through with it, but I was told I would be put on a course, but then they were incompetent, lazy bastards and never actually put me on the course. But what it is, they forgot. I got caught in the last week of term and they fucking forgot over the summer that they were meant to be punishing.
They put the Kamala on you.
That sounds exactly correct.
So
that's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay, this was like, it wasn't I was in this sphere since I was about 13, 14 years old. Like I got in through like the shoe on head Sargon pipeline. So I had very much the mask on, do not show your politics, do not do anything. So I spent like years of senior school and secondary and sixth form, like very afraid, like don't let them know your politics, don't get caught, don't do any of that. I ran a completely non-political like meme account just about the school. So, like taking the piss out of teachers, gossip from various classes, that kind of thing.
Ooh, I bet they didn't like that.
No, they did not like that. They got very mad about this. And when they found out it was me running it, and it was not just me running it, but I took the fall for it. I was not going to rat out anyone else who was involved in this. I was just like, just put that on me. It's fine.
Based in Whitefield.
But yeah. I got dragged out of my, and this was in the last week of term in my first year of sixth form, so college equivalent. So I would have done the same age Charlie is in these videos. Okay. I'm dragged out of my economics class and dragged into the head of sixth form's office, and I am chewed out like I have never been chewed out in my life. Like the teacher who had specific comments made about him is there. He's screaming at me. He's crying. I'm crying. Basically, I had to spend my last day of term doing an apology tour to anyone who was even tangentially mentioned anywhere on the account. And these were things like, I'm going to make up a fake name for this, but these were things like,
gone out and grabbed a bottle of Jack and took a shit on the desk and gone out with style.
And I was wondering, the comments about these teachers were things like, Mr. Pratchett, the kind of dude to kiss his muscles in the morning and say, you got this, big guy. That's a real comment with the name change. That is genuinely something I was brought up on. It was very much, they don't like that we're making fun of them.
That's wholesome humor.
I know.
Right? That's literally the kind of stuff that you would call banter.
Yeah, and
oh god,
it was banter. But basically, they said to me like, Mochi, we can't obviously we can't seize your phone and make you delete the account, but you know, you're going to be 18 soon. You're 17 and a half years old. You're going to be 18 soon. Yeah, you know, you're going to be criminally liable for this sort of thing. And this was back in 2021, because again, I'm aware I'm the baby of the group. England had just lost the World Cup. I don't know if anyone knows this or pays attention to English.
Nobody cares about sport.
I'm American. I don't care.
Okay, so
I'm British and I don't care.
okay, there's important context for this, but quite famously, England had made it much further in the World Cup than we usually expect to, and we had gotten to pretty much the finale. And the thing about English football is a lot of it is just our Africans are better than your Africans, and that's English football.
I'm aware of that meme, yeah.
Like, raised in England, but of African descent. And they put out for the penalties in one of the important games, basically just African English people to take the penalties, because they wanted to be able to have the headlines the next day saying, look at our immigrants, look
how good Ngubu did against Ngubu.
Yes, they wanted to have those headlines, and that's pretty obviously why they chose those players. But they didn't actually win the penalties. They lost the game.
If memory serves, they didn't actually land a single penalty.
Yeah, they did. Right? They performed really poorly.
Yeah.
And there was a massive backlash to this, where people were going online and basically going like, we lost the World Cup because diversity, which was, as far as I can tell, pretty accurate.
I remember that. I think we even covered that on stream back then, because we were streaming back then.
Yeah, this would have been 2021, and it was the summer right after that happened, and it's my last week of term. And my head of sixth form basically goes to me and goes, we can't seize your phone and like forcibly delete the account or anything. Like, the school does not have the power to do that. But look at all these people who have been making these racist comments about our footballers, and look at them getting arrested. We will do that to you and we will press it unless you delete everything. And that threat did not scare me, because I didn't think they really had the power. But they also said to me, basically, we will not allow you to get into university unless you do exactly what we want. Like, they were withholding my reference. I would not have been able to finish my last year of college.
This
is why I don't do academia, because if somebody threatened me like that, I would just nod, and then I would stab them in the parking lot later. So I can't be in academia because
I would have it very differently. I'm ungovernable. I would tell them, how dare you verbally abuse me like this? I am a child. You have no right to treat me this way. Secondly, satire is completely protected, even by your laws. It's protected. You can't do shit.
Don't matter, man.
Shut the fuck up and leave me the fuck alone. I will graduate, and you will do nothing, you punk bitch.
Like, I think the worst thing on the account was there was a post where, if you take it completely seriously, could be considered some sort of accusation, but was obviously a joke given the context of it's on a fucking meme
It's almost
account.
like you called it a meme page.
Yeah, but basically, I'm 17 and also pathetic, and have never been in trouble at school before. Pretty much, you know, I was very much the fucking teacher's pet, so I'm just immediately capitulating and crying my eyes out. But after I've done the apology tour and done all that, my teacher comes up to me, and like after the initial chew out in the head teacher's office is done, I run into they let me go, and I immediately go and hide in the toilets, because I'm not going back to class in this state. I'm just like, oh my god, what am I going to do? And I'm like frantically texting my parents because I'm scared, because I've just been told like, we're not going to let you go to uni over this, pretty much. My head of sixth form follows me in to the girls' toilets and basically goes, Mochi, don't make this worse for yourself, because she doesn't realize I'm texting my parents and thinks I'm like posting more stuff on the account or whatever. So that's the attitude of the people we're dealing with there. But after it's all sorted and I do the apology tour and they let me know that I'm going to be suspended for the first week back in the new term, she basically tells me, Mochi, you're going to be referred to an anger management course to talk about your problems. And that was part of
yes, and I will prescribe you to suck my ass.
You've known me for several years at this point, and you spent time. Do you think I have anger on me? Do I have anger management?
You haven't even seen me angry.
You are one of the most level-headed and reasonable people I know, with the possible exception being myself.
Now, see, I'm glad that Mott shared this story because this was in 2021. Now, and of course, this was a harmless meme page. This was not sharing spicy pinwheels and mustache men and Uncle H stuff. This was just a funny meme page of people, friendly jeering and making fun of teachers and stuff. That's innocent and normal. There's nothing wrong with that, and they treated her this way.
Yeah.
That's what we're up against as white people. That's what we go through.
Motch here is the living example of the meme. Who radicalized you? The people who tried to de-radicalize me.
Yes, exactly. We have one more thing here, and it's something I do want to talk about because I know Lady of Shalott. Matt Bell, the one who shared the old Charlie video with us, sends in $5 more. Thank you very much. And he says, Yiz, you said earlier you hadn't heard from me in a while. Truth is, it gets harder and harder to give money to righteous causes. Used to be a button on YouTube. I've still got words left, so I'll say Lady of Shalott lives. Yes. Now, for those of you who know Lady of Shalott, I'll keep this brief because many of you won't. Everyone in our spheres was told last year she passed away because of her illness. And then just about a month ago, I heard word on Twitter from someone that she was still alive. I have many questions. Message me, email me, yiztheunic@protonmail.com. Follow me on Twitter at yizcognito. Reach out to me. Let me know why there was the mix-up and why last year they told us that she had passed away and why is she supposedly not passed away now. Me and many people in our circles would like to know why. So reach out and let me know. And I promise you I'll be congenial and keep things secret that are not supposed to be public. I just want to know. All right. Moving on. And thank you, Matt. Big appreciation. Thank you, friend. All right. Let me go. Somebody else talk. I need to check and see if anybody else has sent in money.
Well, I'll take this as an opportunity then to you go ahead, Dave. You go ahead.
So it blows my fucking mind, this whole thing of them saying, oh, well, that could be illegal. Those pictures could be illegal. That, like, as an American, like, and someone who's really pushed the limits of free speech on every platform I've been on, like, it really fucking just blows my mind that's even acceptable in the Western world. Right.
They were basically saying that I was committing libel by calling my teachers creepy.
Yeah, exactly. Like the UK arrests thousands of people a year for online speech.
That's
thousands.
And
like, over 1,000 of them actually go to prison every year. Like, it's crazy.
Okay. What the numbers that Yiz is referring to here, they're actually far more severe than what you might think. Around the world, it is generally accepted that China and Russia are the two most censorious and will make you disappear like governments in the world.
It's actually the UK government.
It is actually the UK government, and not by a small margin. I think the last time I checked, 3 times the number of people were arrested in the UK for things they said online compared to the entirety of Russia.
Now, that's of course
Russia.
Now, that's of course if we can believe those statistics. I don't believe anything that comes out of Russia or China.
I personally think it's higher.
It could be. I don't know. Like, it's very hard to believe statistics anymore because, we've seen the thousands of pictures that are going around of all of these non-white terrorists and non-white rapists. When they're
they get booked as white.
The database, they call them white, even if it's like obviously
they're not even reporting it anymore.
Obviously, a Chinese guy. They put white on the race just to fuck with the statistics. I hate that. Hate that.
It's okay. The old ones are right. The old ones are right. 1360.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say earlier.
Oh, we do have memes to get to. Let's not forget that. We have memes to get to.
Okay, I'll try to be brief. So
that's okay. That's okay.
I realized about 2 or 3 months ago recently that the organic mechanism through which the concept of religion was originally formulated within society would have been for a specific purpose. That is, being to fill the God-shaped hole in the human heart.
Yeah.
However, the concept of religion is different to the concept of organized religion. Organized religion that exists on a society-wide scale does not arise naturally within the human psyche.
Right.
It has to be
It's a different
artificially
animal.
reinforced.
Yeah.
Yes. And why would such a thing have come about to exist? What mechanical advantage would a given selection of people have to create an organized religion? And I realize that the answer is actually quite simple. What are the things that bind a given people together? It is blood, it is
Proximity
family,
and faith.
it is proximity.
Yeah.
However, these are specific binds that can only tie a certain number of people together before the natural tendency to formulate and split off into different groups causes an impossibility for a given large enough quantity of individuals to actually stick together. This is the reason why things like the Holy Roman Empire and feudal era Japan actually occurred, because there would be family ties that would keep a certain number of groups of people together, but there wouldn't be an overall unifying force. Those overall unifying forces can only be achieved through tyranny. You will do as I say, or I will kill you. Or alternatively, through there is a higher power that will judge you if you do not do as I say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Organized religion exists for the purpose of binding tribes together. That is the reason why
that's not necessarily evil. That's not necessarily wrong, but it's
not necessarily wrong. In fact, in many cases, it's a good thing because it allows for the prosperous unification of greater numbers of individuals,
and it keeps foreign religions out better. Don't forget that too. It also does that. But that is precisely the reason why modern day governments are trying to destroy the religions. Because the religions of Christianity, for example, is a force that is unifying all of the native peoples of Europe together. It is an overriding force that can keep this civilization going. And the governments of this civilization don't like that. They want to try and create a Europe that is able to be assimilated into the wider global sphere. So they're trying to destroy religious ties in order to allow global ties to replace them. Religion and Christianity as a whole is literally a force operating against globalist destructive tendencies. Remember that. And that's why so many of those anti-white globalists.
And this is coming from somebody who doesn't consider himself a religious person, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
I consider myself. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, and that's why we have seen the great posification of all of the churches, because they started this game generations ago trying to control and subvert the churches because they wanted to head this off at the pass. Like we know about the anti-whiteism in churches. That's been old news. Like my family talked about that when I was a kid. Like it's old news. All right. We have another paid chat over on Rumble from Ardent Party. Ardent says for $1 in a Rumble rant, cheap ads are cheap. Follow Ardent Plays on Rumble. Canadian law is moving to make it possible to be jailed for life for hurting someone's feelings, even potentially. The dystopian nightmare is spreading. Yeah, absolutely.
You went to Ardent Party to step on me.
Go ahead.
Which you would have never heard. But yes, this is why the Soviet Union, when they assimilated the various different nation states that became part of it, they immediately moved the populations around and mixed them all up so that they couldn't unify and actually impose any sort of voting bloc onto any part of the Communist Party. Mm-hmm. They couldn't. There's no way there could be any sort of nationalist takeover of it.
Yeah. I would like to watch this funny video before we look at memes and get out of here, okay? So we are going to do that. Now, this is very short. It's only a little over a minute. This won't take long. But this is funny, and I want you guys to see it. Give me just a moment. Okay, there we go. Let it rip. Two, a fool. I promise you it's playing. It just takes it a minute to get going.
Your mom
Despite the government's attempts at controlling Charlie, he kept using his human right to free speech and stood up for what he believed in. This was illegal. Although the police successfully arrested many natives for sharing memes on Twitter, there wasn't enough persecution, and so Charlie and his friend Amelia were able to speak. This was a major attack on democracy. which unfortunately led to the election of leaders who wanted to protect the indigenous and their culture. As a result of Charlie's actions, all the immigrants went home, and because of this, there was much less demand for housing, which naturally caused house prices to plummet. This unfortunately meant Charlie could afford to buy a house for himself, a house that could have gone to 10 Somali men. Not only that, but with the huge amounts of migrants gone home, there was much less competition in the jobs market, meaning Charlie and all his friends found jobs that could have gone to migrants. Eventually, Charlie went on to marry Amelia. They had 4 children, all of which had white skin. This was clearly racist. Despite all this, Charlie was somehow happy. But at what cost? Millions of foreigners who came to the UK for free housing and social welfare now had to return home and work for a living. Crime rates mysteriously plummeted, which meant the prisons were virtually empty. This saved hundreds of millions of pounds, money that could have gone to providing migrant grooming gangs with food and shelter during their stay in prison. And it was all thanks to this right bunch of Charlies. Or should I say 4 right bunch of Charlies.
I love the fact that it's coached entirely in, and this is a bad thing.
Yeah, it's great. It's so good. That's why I wanted to share it. It's perfect. It's perfect.
He learned. He leered. And he laughed.
All right. Before
Absolutely
we go to
wonderful.
memes, I would like to share something in the chat. The sister stream to this one is American Spirits over on the Old Glory Club channel. Immediately after this stream, I will be heading over there with my good OGC bros. Tonight, American Spirits is The System is Rotten. H.L. Mencken on Society. This will be a good stream. The American Spirit stream, for those of you who may not be familiar, the Old Glory Club, its higher-ups, put together an intellectual stream series explaining to you what the American identity is, where it came from, and what we believe it should be still. So it's a wonderful stream series. It's intellectual and it's very engaging. It's not very long. It's only between an hour and 90 minutes. It's a wonderful stream series. I highly recommend. I'll be going there myself when this is over. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at some memes. So I'll be turning off my camera and starting up the OBS virtual cam again. And hopefully this will share correctly this time instead of me having to restart it all. Let's see if it works. There we go. It's a working. Okay. Let's embiggen, go to the proper view. And now we will start with the memes. President Trump is changing ICE to NICE, National Immigration Customs Enforcement, making the media say NICE agents all day, every day.
It's not actually happening.
Yeah, it's been discussed.
I wish, but it could.
Oh, I
hope
want
so.
that to happen so much.
I would love that, yeah.
This is a nice meme.
I love this. Abdul, we must return to Mogadishu. Yes, Hakeem, it is far too violent here.
I've never seen a more Somalian-looking dog. That's incredible.
I like the little nose ring in this dog, and you've got the dog
Listen,
angry Karen back here.
I have one note about this meme. No, we're reclaiming weird colored dyed hair. Via Amelia, we're reclaiming that from left.
I do like bright colored makeup and hair since, I'm a 90s goth. I've always thought that stuff looks cool. I'm very sad it has the awful association with troons and shrieking blue hairs now. Very sad about that, but that's just how it goes. I like this. Priest, do you read to your kids from the good book? Me, every night. Priest, what is their favorite part? When Frodo destroys the ring.
The Lord of the Rings is an excellent book.
I love this. Your mom called me a good boy last night. Dog playing cock-a-doodle here. My dad texted me about a very serious leak under the sink, so I asked him to send a picture, and he sent this. Oh, I love dad jokes. Okay, now we start. The rest of the memes are all Amelia memes, so get ready.
Excellent.
Here's the first one. Here's the second one. I thought this one was pretty good.
Yay!
I like this one. Next up. I'd like to thank the government, the Home Office, and the British taxpayer for making this possible and radicalizing me further.
We need to nuke India.
I love this one. The Lady of the Lake bequeathing the new Excalibur. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clearly, he's American.
Before Britain arrived, India had forgotten its history because no one could read Brahmi script. Then James Prinsep arrived, a brilliant British polymath who deciphered it. He worked tirelessly, traveling across India, studying its secrets. Thanks to him, India's ancient past was unlocked, including Ashoka, whose chakra is on the modern Indian flag. So, thank you. Thank you, Amelia. We won! We're done, boys. Hashtag Waterloo. Here's a good one that 3 of 12 will like.
That's surprisingly well done.
Yeah, that's good. That looks good, doesn't it? That's a good one. AI is scary, man. I don't believe anything I see anymore.
I know.
Yeah.
Of course, we are all Amelia now. Gotta have that one. Behold, our newest ad campaign. Are you sure this will stop young people from engaging with extreme ideologies? Stop.
On the long run, this is accidentally the best bit of demoralization propaganda they've ever made, because now people are going in expecting brightly colored haired goth GFs, and I'm afraid there's not that many of us.
Yeah. You're the only one I'm aware
Your sexual value just went up.
Christ.
Oh.
All right, let's move on. I'm just responding to a comment. Give me a second. All right, very good. Moving on. Next we have this one's for you, Motch. I saved this one because it reminded me of you.
Regular women can't compete.
I'm not cool enough to smoke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you're young and thin and arguably attractive, so I thought this was a good one for you.
I stopped my ex from smoking.
Says you're thin.
One
of Amelia's special moves, a map.
It's the map. The one map to rule them all.
It's the map.
Yeah, if you've been in this game a long time, every map is the same map.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, she kind of looks like she won head.
Prevent should just be for Muslims. Change my mind.
Is that the clear them out cat from the Postman Pat immigration video?
Yeah.
The what?
Oh, do you not know about? I have a video to show you when the stream's done.
Okay.
After all,
Oh, God.
why shouldn't I say it?
Marriage material.
Oh, yes. The Burger King guy is a legend. I'll never forget him.
There is a Burger King in Charlotte Airport.
Yeah, some of these AIs are really good. Like this looks so real to me. I can't believe it.
Yes, join friends.
I love this one. This is a beautiful propaganda poster. I love it. Defend your homeland now or never. I love this one. Manic Pixie Gotholite GF. Charlie Wilson, leader of Reclaim UK. Anna McDougall, paralegal, women's rights expert. Charlie Ashworth, imprisoned for a tweet.
Aww.
And the truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
I've seen this one in particular many times.
It's pretty good. I love this one. I'm not reading this out loud because I don't want to get smacked.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Oh, look at this
one. That's okay. I'll see you in jail.
We'll see you in the courthouse.
I'll slip you some cookies.
I like this one too. This one reminded me of Aiden Paladin because of the glass of wine.
That's very appropriate. Yeah.
What are you saying about Aiden?
Because her avatar used to always have that little glass of wine.
I suppose, yes.
Yes.
It's not because she drinks like a fish and is always drunk. It's certainly not that.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
I love this one.
Girl. Excellent.
Isn't this a good one? This is the Vax girl. Yeah.
That's probably the biggest problem with Amelia. Amelia came in and just completely replaced Axe Girl.
Well, she was 13, so let's not.
Split me into two people.
That's true, yes. That is true.
All right. Moving on. We have a few more. I saved the best ones for last. This is the anime version.
There we go.
Of course, it's a harem, obviously.
Yeah.
I heard people were making an Amelia dating sim. I hope that
This
comes out
one-
because that's funny.
This one's amazing because I love her coat. That is a jacket I would wear. That wonderful long coat with the beautiful lapels. I love big coats like that. So nice.
We need one with Sargon of Akkad, and they're like celebrating at one of his festivals.
Now make it somebody more based than that. All right, let's do. We have one more meme left. Not that Carl isn't more based than he used to be. I'm very happy with Carl's improvement. We have. I saved the spiciest one.
Oh no!
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, isn't that? Look at her face. I love it. Yes. Oh,
I didn't even notice the gun. Oh Jesus!
Oh yeah, that's great. It's now I am not as good on pistol identification as I am rifle identification. Is that a Colt Anaconda? Is that what that is?
You'd
Or is
know
that-
more than
I
me.
think I might
Or
be
is that an
mistaken,
old
but I'm
Weatherby?
pretty sure that it's a revolver.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We asked a machine to imagine a gun. I
But
think.
more to the point, it is that is a backup weapon. That is not a real sidearm you should take.
No, that's a fine sidearm. It's just, it's not an actual weapon. Anyway, we have come to the end of the stream. I had a wonderful time. Thank you to Motch and Ginger for being here live on camera the entire event. I had a marvelous time. And of course, thank you to 3 of 12, who's always here, and my good friend Fat Dave for being here so often. Thanks to all of you lovelies who financially gift. I really do appreciate that. It helps me keep doing this. Like if it wasn't for your money, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this. And I deeply appreciate it. And I would like to remind you, if you do like the content and want me to keep going, please go over to Subscribestar and drop me a few dollars a month. I even have a $1 a month tier just to get your name in the introduction graphic there. So please consider financially supporting me, like our good friend Dawn Browning, who at the last minute sent in $10 over on PayPal. She says, look at the names on MPTS medic tribunals. MPTS medic tribunals. Look at the names. Okay. On UK's MPTS medic tribunals. I don't know. What is the MPTS, Ginger and Mosh? What is that? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's a stupid acronym, so it's probably something internal to the NHS, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
Probably. It's and Dawn said medical tribunal. So I bet you that means that it's a bunch of foreigners. If I had to guess, it's probably that. And thank you, Matt Bell, for telling me what you did privately over on Entropy.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Dawn Browning, for being the point of communication for Lady of Shalott and the rest of us. And of course, for all of us who love Lady of Shalott, do send her our best. And I only stopped praying for her because I thought she had passed away. I will continue praying for her and her family now. Thank you very much, Dawn. And thank you, Matt, of course. All right, that's it. We've come to the end of the stream. It is now time to head over to Old Glory Club. So let's thank our wonderful guests, and thank all of you lovelies in the chat for always being here and sharing the stream. And thank you for helping us hit over 100 live viewers again. We hit 103 peak live viewers.
Oh,
this
excellent.
time. Yep.
Hell yeah.
It's been rough lately. The viewership has been way down the last 6 months, but hopefully it's starting to get back up there again. And thank you guys for being a part of that. I will see you all next Monday for more fun. I'm pretty sure Aiden Paladin is back in the featured guest seat next week, so we should have a good stream next week. And of course, speak the truth to all who have the ears to hear it, and do what you can for your people because no one else is. Good night and God bless everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.